Guys, it is hashtag and you are welcome. My name is Vivian and I got my co-host here, but in a short while though, he's going to be doing his intro himself. But for starters, this is where you get all things trending, especially on X. And guys, the grapevine is buzzing like there's no tomorrow, I can tell you. And it's all about the ADC, the African Democratic Alliance, the new opposition party. Lots of bigwigs there, right? Ikechukwu is going to be dissecting it in a short while, though. But first, how are you, sir? Good evening. Yeah.
This blue is good. So good.
There's something you said about the color of blue.
That's purity.
Yeah, I hope Azubike is listening. He's in the newsroom. There's something he said. That's why I'm, calling him out right now. Guys, if you're game, let's get this show on the road. The first hashtag is the ADC. So it's finally happened, right? There were talks of, the members of the coalition party not being allowed to enter into the venue, their preferred venue. But that was just gist. There are evidences all around that there was a huge gathering. And I'm going to be reeling out. In fact, this is going to be a roll call. You'll be shocked. When I saw Malami, I was like, OMG.
Yeah.
No wonder he's been quiet. And was it not just yesterday when we talked about Loretta?
She was also there.
She was. What's happening? Is it the Buhari camp? Is that it?
You got that, absolutely.
Oh my God.
I mean, he's actually not into active politics anymore. You see, there's something about the northern politics. If you follow 2015, I'm not going to go back, but at least as recent as 2015 down to what we have today. I think there's this uncanny synergy between Buhari and El-Rufai.
It's uncanny. You got it.
Yes,
You're spot on.
And the both of them, are very tough talkers.
Yeah.
They are very strong nationalists. Nationalists are people who are very much into their own tribe. Right? Of course, we tend to throw these words around. So, colorful and nationalists, I think I should put that well. And, these guys are actually seen as, the face behind core grassroots movements in the north. And when El-Rufai and, Atiku and co went to pay Buhari a courtesy visit, it was okay, you know what?
That was like the handwriting on the wall.
Yes, you know what? I'm not an active player anymore, but yes, I give you my blessings. Go do what you want to do. I'll be standing in the wings. Of course, before 2023, there were rumors and talks of Buhari not interested in supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yeah. But then El-Rufai stood behind him. You remember the Naira issue and all of that.
Are you a mind reader? I was just going to say so. That whole charade was just to stop, allegedly to stop President Tinubu from becoming president.
And now we have, El-Rufai backing out. Of course, a lot of persons are alluding that to the incident happened after he went to the Senate and he was declined, the ministerial appointment and all of that. He felt embarrassed. How can you send me there? And then, it's supposed to be a rubber stamp thing, and then they failed to, they turned my nomination down and all of that. So it became an issue. A lot of persons are saying that's exactly why El-Rufai, even if that's not the case, but the most important thing is that they are no longer together. The harmony they once had.
The romance has gone
now he moved. He led this because I think it seems to be the closest politician in terms of ideology to the Buhari camp. So that's exactly why it's easy for now seeing his core in his own group. The Malamis, the Onoche. It says a lot about the CPC faction of the APC behind this coalition. And trust me, the CPC are the core grassroots people in northern politics. I mean, if anywhere Buhari goes, maybe perhaps during campaign, we're definitely going to be seeing the real picture. If Buhari decides to step into a campaign venue, then you just know that the game is over.
Oh my God! Talking about game over, let's go online. X specifically find out what people are saying about this particular hashtag the ADC. So, what's X saying? Guys, why don't we take a short break? When we come back, I promise to tell you what X is saying. Stay with us.
Everybody keep watching Voice of the People. All right? Love you all.
Hello, sweetie. What's going on? My name is Kiki. Keep watching VOB TV. Thanks.
Hey guys, what's going on? Olumide Oru, the Fresh Prince of Lagos here, and this is VOP TV, guys.
Hello guys, I want you to please keep on watching VOP TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hafiz Oyetoro. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Shout out to VOP TV.
Very big shout out to the VOP TV. My name is Tayo Faduro. I'm an actor that you are gonna live to love. Keep watching. Cheers.
Hi everyone, so shout out to VOP TV.
Welcome back. The show is still hashtag right here on your favorite channel, VOP TV. Your hosts, Vivian and Ikechukwu. So I was going to take you to X. I take you to X. Shall we? Yes. Imran Mohammed said, leaders of the opposition coalition, including Atiku, Obi, El-Rufai, Amaechi, Rauf Aregbesola, and others have gathered at the Yar'Adua Center for the official unveiling of the ADC. Guys, wait for it. This is the roll call. Others at the meeting are former APC National Chairman John Oyegun, former Governor of Sokoto State Aminu Waziri Tambuwal. Was that a shocker for you? Yeah, he's been very silent. I was going to ask, but here he is. Tambuwal is here. Former Attorney General of the Federation Abubakar Malami, Dino Melaye. A former Minister of Youth and Sports Solomon Dalong, Dele Momodu. Oh my gosh. Senator Gabriel Suswam and Senator Ireti Kingibe of the Labour Party, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Emeka Ihedioha, and former Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, retired, and others. Air Vice Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, retired. Now check out the roll call. Impressive, yes. Yeah?
Not surprising. A good number of them are actually pro-Atiku group. So these are actually the face,
yeah.
Some of the key players that will be doing the job for the ADC. And I mean, the Sadiq Abubakar, we were having a conversation about the chances of winning a presidential election and how you actually need the military boys.
You said it.
In
yeah.
Iran.
So that's strategic.
Yeah, that's one of them. This is just one of them.
Yeah.
A good number of them. Trust me, he himself controls a lot of boys that are very much active.
I mean, talking about the interim chairman, David Mack himself, he's got a military background.
So you need this sort of people, because when push comes to shove,
yeah,
the military will definitely step in. So if you can have, Nigerian election is all about, we also had this conversation when I said, it is those who have shown that they do not care if the country burns that are most likely going to win. Now, if you have...
I'm trying to wrap my head around that particular one, though.
Yes, I'll tell you for free.
Why do you say that?
I'll say it. I mean, going by history, the tough talkers, the person who mentioned that the blood of, dogs and baboons will soak in the blood, people who are strong, who are vocal with whatever it is they say. I mean, a lot of utterances was made before 2011, and of course in 2023 we saw how the election was quite volatile in some sections of the country, and of course all the people who end up benefiting from that particular process are actually the people who actually became the winner of the election. Yeah. So it says a lot. Now when the opposition is saying that, okay, I have the same ability to cause, inflict as much pain as you are, and then we can actually look at ourselves and say, okay, perhaps, let's get it done. Now, the ruling party obviously have their own, strength as regards, military boys backing them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They also have this now. It's a game of, let's now put it on the streets, let the number count. And trust me, right, whatever it is that is going to be happening in the north, it's still very not decided.
In fact, before you go further, there are lots of angles to this, which we are going to be dissecting. So I want us to do it one tweet after the other.
Okay.
In fact, there are 3 hashtags trending on X right now that are all related to the ADC. So let's take a look at the next tweet under the hashtag the ADC. So this is it. African Democratic Congress. This is the ADC itself, says, we are ready with an exclamation mark. Nigerians are ready, another exclamation mark. ADC is the vehicle. Very apt, yeah? Now, why do you think this happened? You remember we had one hashtag once upon a time, another ADA, and you said another ADA. Because it was like a photocopy of what was supposed to be the main coalition party.
True.
Do you think that was why they settled for the ADC?
Absolutely. A lot of permutations must have happened before they actually settled for this. When the talks of ADA was up, of course the opposition would try to actually create a diversion, and I think they actually did what is best described as let's throw our weakest card, let's see what they are going to come up with. And when the list came
the bait?
Probably a bait, because when the list came out, we saw people trying to replicate that. And say, oh yeah, we got them here. So then they opt for a party that's already in existence.
I was telling you that was going to be an issue, but you were seeing the logo and all of that. But see, duplication of party names, it's problematical. But let's not even go there.
It's problematic to the voters, to the electorate,
especially those in the rural areas.
Yes.
Yeah, it might become problematic.
Yes.
Now, what happened to the SDP thingy though?
It's all about consensus. They've actually reached a particular point and say, what, this is the very best bet for us.
Yeah.
And of course, you remember, of course, you must have heard that as soon as this agreement was reached, the chairman of ADC actually resigned for David Mark to step in. Now it's the game of the big boys. It is no longer a game. ADC is no longer a regional party. It's no longer a party in the fringes. It's now a national party. So the big boys must come in. People who have managed a party that have been successful over the years have to come in to actually run it. That's exactly. It's just like.
Let's talk about David Mark a little bit, since you're calling him the big boys. He's done over 20 years in the Senate. Was the Senate president.
Former solar
when it comes to politics in the Middle Belt.
It's a strong figure.
Yeah, so
people look at people like David Mark and say they don't have electoral value in their state. But the thing is, right, when you look at politicians, it's not just about the person. It's about the number of seed people loyal to them across board.
Well, let's remember that Abba Moro also unseated him at some point.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that for David Mark, right, it's not just about his person now. It's about the seed, the legacy he's had across board. There are people he's going to call and say, hey, this is what I want done. Now these are the influence, these are the people who can actually make things happen. El-Rufai is not, when it comes to, apart from governorship election, he didn't actually deliver his own state for the APC in the last election. But when you look at how things are actually done, then you ask yourself, okay, El-Rufai is a very strong politician in the north, across the north. But you might not, be able to actually deliver one state and say, okay, this is my state, I can deliver 2-3 states. No, not everybody have that electoral capital. But when it comes to influence in the grassroots, you cannot, take the likes of El-Rufai away. These are the things that they definitely look at before, agreeing on this particular. But my biggest problem with the ADC at this point is the ego. They've agreed to seats. They've agreed to, reach an agreement that this is our vehicle, right? Who's going to drive?
Yeah, let's take it one step at a time. When we get to that river, we're going to cross it.
All right.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the next tweet, shall we? It's still the hashtag, the ADC. There's a tweet, actually, that's going to be alluding to what Ikechukwu talked earlier on about the ADC collapsing the whole party structure, just to accommodate the big boys. So this one is Tosi Olugbenga, and he says, anyone in the ADC now is a saint in my eyes. We must punish APC in 2027. Like, when you go to X, it's like Nigerians are excited. There are so many. Someone was even saying that he's going to get his ADC card ASAP. Like, it looks like people are excited.
Yes, this was the mood in 2011, 2015, prior 2015 election, when the APC was formed. People were talking about how the likes of Saraki, Tinubu, and co were actually not good people, but a lot of persons don't really care. The most important thing is, let's get the end justify the means. Let's take the PDP out. They've been reckless, they are corrupt. So that's exactly the same position.
So it is one mission, take the APC
Just take the APC out at this point. That's exactly. So people really don't care about, the people who are actually forming the party at this point. In fact, it's as bad as, even if you bring the devil at this point to join the ADC, Nigerians really don't care.
But is that a good thing, though? Are you sure you're not going to go get into the same problem you're trying to get out of? But that's a whole totally different kettle of fish. There's another tweet. We have like 3-4 more of them, and the last one is going to lead us to our next hashtag. But so let's take a look at this one. Mayor of Ika, I hope I got that right, says, let me put this out there, or let me put this out here, that I am still a bona fide member of the PDP, but will work for and support the ADC, which is the vehicle for the coalition. What we need now is a viable and united opposition to defeat APC. I am following the footsteps of our national leader, Nyesom Wike. Thank you. What an example. You do know that the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, is a bona fide member of the PDP, but he's openly declared that he's going to work for, the second coming of the president. So this person is
very interesting.
Saying,
I mean,
I'm following my leader.
He's actually a very good follower. But at this point, sadly, PDP is as good as dead.
It's in tatters.
PDP is like an abandoned vehicle, so nobody's interested. Just the name is what is existing now. Nothing.
That's rather unfortunate.
What makes that party is no longer there. The ingredient that formed the party. In fact, as we speak today, the ADC is way bigger than the PDP.
Looks like it, though.
That's the reality.
Yeah, because there are lots of chatter online regarding the ADC. Now, let's take a look at the next tweet. It's still the hashtag ADC. There's another tweet I'd like for you to take a look at. So, Chudi says, former Buhari SSA Loretta Onoche was at the ADC coalition meeting today. Ikechukwu and I already talked about it, but that's the lady there. There's another tweet. Let's take a look at it. The next one now. So, Chuk says, Ikechukwu, this will interest you, right? Because this is germane. As we talk about a coalition to remove President Tinubu in 2027, we should remember the root cause of our problem, which is election reform, and we must fix it. Randy Peters reacts to politicians adopting the ADC as their party. This is something you've been saying over and over and over. The charter will come to nothing if this is not, something is not done. That's what he's saying. So
yeah, there are two sides to this, right? This is the very first thing, right? But then if we can have, an opposition that is as strong as 2014, they are most likely going to win.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to be difficult for, the party to outmuscle them, to rig them, to do whatever it is, violence or whatever, they're going to match the energy. That's one part. But then, going back to this, right? I've always, been an advocate of the reform. The problem is the structure of the election, how the election is structured, the rules which the election is played.
Is there going to be transmission, electronic transmission,
all of these things are
and all of that
going to be the biggest problem, because at the end of the day, it just if it's left for the electoral, the umpire to call the vote, then of course he might just be swinging to the biggest bidder, and that's exactly what's going to be the biggest problem.
We played a video yesterday of the obedience of supporters of Peter Obi who stood their ground guarding their votes at the polling unit.
That was the last election.
That was the last election.
But they did
and
that.
They're saying they're going to do it again.
At the polling booth?
Yeah.
But what happened at the coalition center?
That's a good question. But the thing is, aren't you even surprised that this is 2025, 2027 is 2 years away, and Nigerians are all geared up?
You know what?
So the masses, they have awoken from the slumber? Is that it?
Well, this is not just, in 2020, 2025, right? Yeah. It's not a 2025 thing. The masses actually showed that, yes, we are very much awake starting from 2011.
Yeah.
It started,
I think the Great Awakening began
It started then.
Yeah, but let's move on here. There's another tweet I'd like for you to take a look at as we progress to the next hashtag. But two more tweets, I guess. Yeah. Let's take a look at the next tweet, hashtag the ADC. So, Weyemi says, a powerful voice. The latest besties in town, El-Rufai and Peter Obi, holding hands and walking into the coalition's conference for the ADC. This is going to lead us to the next hashtag, but there's another tweet though I would have loved for us to see. It's about the ADC collapsing all of its structures nationwide just to accommodate the big boys. You already talked about it though. But there's a video. I'm going to come back to this particular tweet before we go to the next hashtag. Director, take note. But let's take a look at a video of members of the ADC collapsing its structures really to welcome the new party members. Take a look. Okay, so it's a mammoth crowd, yeah. And the excitement is palpable. You still think you can cut it with a knife? Really?
Absolutely. See, something's going to happen before the election.
What's that?
It's going to happen.
This is a good prophecy. I'm not in the mood for any doomsday prophecy.
No. It's going to happen this way, right? Either this or that, right? What's going to happen is we'll see a lot of some important person, right? Perhaps maybe House of Reps or governor even.
Decamping to the ADC.
Can
I hazard a guess?
And we can also see that before the election there will be serious infighting in the ADC.
I can see
and
that.
the coalition will just crash. So it's
so
quite
it's
very
either the pendulum might.
So the both sides now at this
yeah.
point will be having sleepless nights, politicking how to actually weaken the structure of their adversaries at this point. So it's going to be quite difficult. But then politics is a very beautiful game.
Gosh, you didn't say it's a dirty game. You are born again, really. You've been saying sweet things recently.
Really?
Now, do you think Senator Ali Ndume, the hot Borno State Senator, do you see him decamping to the ADC? Not too long ago, he came on board to say if the president doesn't fix things, that he's going to decamp. In fact, he said he's been attending the coalition meetings. See,
Ali Ndume is actually one of those people who you can actually look at as someone who is actually around the Buhari camp. So it's easy, right, to actually tell that he might most likely join. But some politicians will be watching from afar, trying to understand at the end to see, okay, this is where the power is most likely going to swing, and then they will definitely jump ship. This is 2027 is the election, right? Don't forget. So we'll see how between now and say perhaps September 2026.
But things are moving very fast.
But you get to see, a lot more persons join, and the political waters will be very, 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 very volatile.
These are exciting times to live in. Yes, I can tell you, it's sweet. Now there is that last week. Can we pull it up again? Peter Obi and El-Rufai holding hands. Oh my gosh. The impossible has become possible. Now, people, this is going, like I said, is going to lead us to the next hashtag. But let's take a look at it again. Peter Obi, that's it. Peter Obi. Okay, so this picture is supposed to be for the next hashtag, which is hashtag Datti. The last one was about somebody saying she loves the fact that Peter Obi and El-Rufai were holding hands. And that was supposed to be under hashtag the ADC, because there are two pictures, two different hashtags. Now, she was saying the latest besties in town. That's what she said. Now, that is leading us to the next hashtag, which is hashtag Datti. And people are saying, if Peter Obi and El-Rufai are the latest besties in town, what's up with Datti? Right? You want to say something before we go to X?
Yeah, I think El-Rufai has actually stated his position in this coalition. It's just to bring down the government. He's not really interested or aspiring to be in the front of the movement, which is the president or the vice president position. So
you don't think that picture is like a statement?
No,
it's not a subtle statement?
I think the subtle statement there is that, this is the chosen one. This is El-Rufai, announcing the chosen one. That's the subtle statement there. Yes.
As Peter Obi as the chosen one.
Yes.
Who, by the way, has submitted a proposal for
that's exactly what the North has been, rallying for. This is what we want, and we have to actually balance it. You guys just have to do, 4 years, so we can actually take our 8 years back, of course, to actually balance the years of, late Umar Musa Yar'Adua. So it's very possible that, Peter Obi actually saw through that and decided to say, you know what, let's get this done. But the picture I saw, I think. Yes, you look at political capital, you want to give it, to Atiku Abubakar because he's actually the biggest in terms of political influence, in terms of, the person who have, occupied the highest political office in that particular group. But in terms of, grassroots mobilization in the North, you definitely want to give it to El-Rufai.
And you've been saying that. You've said that like 10 times today.
Yes, and at this point, right, El-Rufai, holding the hands of PDP.
It's a huge statement, I can tell you.
It's a huge statement.
They say pictures say, just one picture say 1,000 words. I think that's what that does. So the next hashtag is hashtag Datti. And that's the first picture you're going to be seeing. El-Rufai and Peter Obi holding hands. So we go to X now, hashtag Datti, that's what we're doing. Let's take a look at the first tweet. So that's the picture again. Take a close look, yeah? They're actually smiling. El-Rufai is cracking a smile there. He's holding Peter Obi's hand. And Anastasia says she's not happy. Look at what she says. God, I beg you. Peter Obi, I beg you. I don't see myself campaigning and calling this man's name as I did with Datti Baba Ahmedu. Ejo, my chest. It looks like she's having, you know, some chest pain right now. But let's take a look at the next one, though. So Datti is trending seriously. Apparently, he's got lots of fans. See, this person says, is it Elewe? I hope I've not murdered your name. Says, I see Datti for that meeting. Does he want to be VP again? That's $1 million question. You do know that Datti and Obi were an item in the last presidential election. Yeah, so let's take a look at the next tweet now. It's still Datti. So Alpha the Great says, I want Datti too, but it's not visible. Tambuwal is a good grassroots politician from the north. So Alpha the Great is saying maybe Tambuwal might be the VP person to Peter Obi. Let's talk about Datti though.
We'll be very honest with ourselves, right? I mean, the moment this coalition was, you know, gaining momentum, people who are political analysts will understand that Obi has to also make concessions. And one of the concessions he has to make is actually to, you know, put aside the position of the VP. You can't have in a coalition. You can't have the president and the vice president. It doesn't work that way.
I mean, it looks like that is not even clamoring for the VP.
Even if he's clamoring for it, he can't get it.
And that's what Alpha the Great just
absolutely
said.
In 2015, we saw how it happened. The ACN actually gave, you know, the vice president had the vice presidential slot, while the CPC had the presidential slot in President Muhammadu Buhari and Oshibanjo. it works that way all of the time, right? And even in the Senate, it's the PDP man who got it, which is Bukola Saraki.
So a lot of calculation comes into
you must have to actually shed something to gain, you know, to actually fit in the overall goal, which is actually to bring down, you know, the APC government. And if you must do that, you know, these are one of the sad pills you have to swallow. It's so unfortunate. Perhaps it's going to still come in, perhaps as a minister or you know, or something else, but this is one of those things you have to really expect. Yeah,
I know you say that. You always say that there are no good people in politics, but Datti comes across like a gentleman, yeah?
Well, I mean,
I'm waiting to see your answer.
I'm
waiting to see how you are going to swing this one.
It comes across as a gentleman, but I mean, politics is not for gentlemen.
It's difficult for you to say.
Politics is not for gentlemen.
But the thing is, Alpha the Great
and of course, we remember that, you know, I think his senatorial election was actually, he was actually removed from the Senate because they said he actually rigged in his way into.
So you're saying he has, he has history. Fine. Alpha the Great says Tambuwal is a more grassroots man.
Very well.
So do you see him as a viable VP candidate? Say Peter Obi Tambuwal?
Well, yes. I mean, Tambuwal has got, you know, experience. He's run the states before as a governor. Been a governor. You know, he's
been in the National Assembly.
He's been the fourth man of the country. He understands what politics is at the national level, right? And of course, he's a very close ally to Atiku. You remember in 2023 PDP convention that actually gave Atiku the ticket, how he actually, you know, outwitted Wike in the last. So he understands.
That was some
massive chess game. He understands, you know, the politics of power, and of course, you know, how to actually do political calculations. So I think it's a very good fit, you know, considering the fact that if they have to, you know, make this thing work, somebody needs to step in. I mean, Atiku, you don't expect an Atiku to run, you know, behind Peter Obi.
No, it's not
you don't expect. So he needs his lieutenant to do that. And of course, Tambuwal has always been, you know, a very loyal person. So for Tambuwal running under Peter Obi, it's actually not an insult to him, right? So because of course Peter Obi has actually shown his weight at the national level.
So it might work, and it's also going to be a Christian Muslim ticket.
Yes.
And it might really work.
It definitely is.
All right. So the next hashtag is hashtag Southern Kaduna. You remember how you said El-Rufai didn't scale it through the National Assembly when President Tinubu nominated him as one of his ministers and all of that? Now, one of the things that was, in fact, the grapevine said it was because he didn't pass some security, you know, tests and all of that. But the thing is, didn't the president know before he said, come be my minister and all of that? But see, so El-Rufai put up, guys, it's hashtag Southern Kaduna. El-Rufai, a former governor of Kaduna State, former FCT minister, put up, and former ally of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, very much President Tinubu's person. He put up this tweet. Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai says, Senator David Mark takes over as interim national chairman of the ADC. The coalition transition has started. Congrats, Nigeria. Urban and rural banditry will be extinguished by God's grace. That's a good thing to say, yeah? But people are having none of it on X. Now, take a look at the reactions now. They are latching onto the very last sentence of that statement. Take note. I see Ikechukwu. Yeah, Ikechukwu is nodding here. So let's go to the next tweet now in reaction to this particular tweet. So, Onosanya Sheun Fozo says, yes, banditry and insecurity, those are always your selling points. What did you do as the governor to secure the lives and properties in southern Kaduna? Invoking religious sentiments and a track record of aligning with bloodthirsty ethnic killers. And he said, you're not the Messiah. Now, guys, take note. This is a disclaimer. This is Onosanya Sheun Fozo saying this thing on X. We are just telling you what she said. Let's take a look at the next tweet. Osaz Edo Boy says, I see a lot of political jobbers forming intellectuals. El-Rufai is a big no for the sanity of Nigeria. Southern Kaduna no fit forget this man. Removal of his deputy to dismantling of traditional rulers, never. Lots of reaction. Even Reno Mockery jumped on it, but I wanted to spare you the torture of reading a tweet
thank you very much.
from Reno,
I really appreciate
whom you've
that.
called a character assassin. So I was saying, so if you bring a character assassin to assassinate El-Rufai's character, reputation, what am I doing? So Southern Kaduna.
Southern Kaduna.
They are latching on to what he said. He's promising that banditry and insecurity is going to end. But people are saying, let me take you back memory lane.
So he who plays the piper, they say, dictates the tune, right? El-Rufai, all what has happened in Southern Kaduna, or what is happening again in Southern Kaduna today, shows that if the person who is in charge of security, like the chief security officer, either of the state or of the country, is not having it, it's not going to stay, it's not going to work. Obasanjo is doing a very good job at Sugar Security. Now,
so you're saying
the beautiful thing about
the killing, even though it's not been eradicated, is been minimized to the barest minimum.
The beautiful
beautiful thing.
The beautiful thing about this coalition, or the beautiful thing that will come out of this coalition, is if the person who is going to be taking over government, or who is going to be taking over as the presidential candidate and eventually win at the end of the day, if the person is someone who will not tolerate, this killing across the country, trust me, it's going to stop.
2 days ago, Peter Obi came on. We talked about it,
yes,
yeah. When he said he would rather be the minister for security, a security minister, and not a petroleum minister like all the other presidents before him. And he's promising that he's going to bring stability to Nigeria. Do you think he can do it?
I think going by his history, right, Peter Obi has nothing to do with, he's not made a statement or he's not given a disposition that shows that he's kind of emotional to these people. I'll give an example. El-Rufai once said, right, that he actually paid some people to stop killing.
And that story is lengthy. You need to listen. It's because you don't take stuff out of context. It's a lengthy story. So he said he did that because the people, it was a reprisal. The people had been hurt and they were going to do a reprisal. And he said, what if we pay you? Now the thing is, at the risk of being the devil's advocate here, let me ask you a question. Did the Southern Kaduna genocide, because that's what it's called, did it begin with El-Rufai, or was it happening before he became?
It has always been.
Before he became.
It has always been in the middle belt.
No, this is a question.
It has always been in the middle belt, not just Southern Kaduna. But it was rife in his particular.
Was there some killings in Southern Kaduna before he came?
It has always been there.
Okay, so just to let the viewer know that Southern Kaduna is not part of North Central, which is the middle belt.
That's why I said
there had been killings before he came on board.
And the killings has just one face, which is religious. That's the face of the killing.
So this is it. Let's say like it is. Black. Let's call black.
I know.
But no, can I learn?
Okay.
So there were killings in Southern Kaduna, but when he became the governor, it was rife.
Yes.
I just wanted us to qualify that. So now, if he's responsible for the killing in Southern Kaduna, is Reverend Father Aliyah responsible for the Yelwata genocide? So would you say the governor of Plateau is responsible for the genocide?
So
would that be it?
Okay,
I'm just asking.
So this is the case, right? That's why I said whoever it is that's in
Yeah, you
charge
said so.
of the state, you're the chief security officer of the state. There are certain comments you make, people will understand that, okay, yes, I do not have power. Like, for example, in 2015, before 2015 election, when the then Minister of Education, which is Nyesom Wike, who is the Minister of FCT today, and the Governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amaechi, were at the loggerhead, right? At some point, the Commissioner of Police that time in Rivers State, Mr. Joseph Mbu, was being used, right? In fact, it was giving the Minister of FCT, this Minister of FCT, who was the then Minister of State for Education, which is Nyesom Wike, cover, right? Nyesom Wike was more like the governor of the state. At some point, there was an incident where, the governor of the state was crying. He was saying, Joseph Mbu wants to kill me. I'm talking about Rotimi Amaechi was the governor at the point. Now, what I'm saying is this, right? We understand that, security is very much at the federal level.
Yeah.
If the state does, if you want to do something to secure your state, there are certain measures you will take. And then if you've been twisted by the federal, you say it.
You say it. In fact, let me buttress your point, right? The late Rotimi Akeredolu.
Yes.
He was the one that spearheaded the formation of the regional security outfit, Amotekun.
God bless you.
So I know what you're saying.
Now,
I'm just asking some questions.
Yes, I understand. Now, for the case of El-Rufai, what he's doing, right? No governor, no sensible governor would do what he did. You don't offer money to people killing people,
especially
when
he had said that you don't negotiate with.
You don't do it. You don't do it for any reason.
I've known.
Let's imagine. let's take it back. Let's flip it the other way. People who are being killed are Muslims, and then you identify the people and you say, okay, these people are from this particular ethnic group, but they're actually killing his people who are actually Fulanis are Muslims. Is he going to be offering money for them to stop the killings?
So, now, you just qualified your statement that the southern Kaduna people are predominantly Christians.
Absolutely.
So my question is, as we wrap this particular hashtag up, is this going to follow El-Rufai for the rest of his life? Is this going to follow him around for the rest of his life? This is. People are saying allegedly this was why he didn't become a minister in this.
That's not the reason he didn't become a minister.
Allegedly, people say
the federal government, Tinubu's government. This is me saying it. I don't think the president really trusts this person. That's entirely why it's not.
So why did he invite him in the first place?
Well, perhaps
why did he woo him? Why did he court him?
Maybe just,
and then come and disgrace him on the national stage?
Well, that's politics. And sometimes politicians have a way of actually dealing with someone who's hurt them at some point. The thing is this. Former President Muhammadu Buhari, the statement
thinking about that thing you just
yes,
said.
they do it.
You're setting up for a part 2 of this. We'll probably have to do hashtag El-Rufai.
All right.
But like you said, there is no way you can take it from him. That man is a grassroots politician, and he's got that going for him.
Very well.
All right, last hashtag for today, guys, and it's totally away from politics. You do know that we told you not too long ago that Two-Face was on a podcast with Naidu. And he said a lot, how he said he was living in bondage with his ex-wife. And then he said something that has raised a lot of dust online. He said it is not possible for a man to be with just one woman. I mean, how do you, okay. I'm not going to color this up with my sentiments, right? So Two-Face said that, and he's been dragged, right? So let me put up that particular tweet for you, and then Two-Face's reaction. So this was it. Oyindamola pulled it up. I just don't want to play the video, guys. Let me spare you the torture of that. It sounded horrible. And so Oyindamola says, a man, she's quoting Two-Face, a man is not built to sexually be with one woman. A man can love one woman, die, but it's impossible for a man to sexually be with one woman only. It's the biology of man. And that is an absolute fallacy. Yeah, I'm a fan of Two-Face, but this is so disappointing. But then again, Two-Face himself came out to say today, take a look at what he said. The next tweet is still Oyindamola, who really follows him back to back. This is the fallout from that particular podcast. So he says, Two-Face says, I know I messed up with what I said, and I know I'm going to get cancelled because of it. I apologize to my fans, and most importantly, to my wife. He's talking about Natasha now, the House of Representative member, Natasha. She said he's apologizing most importantly to his wife, the love of his life, and Natasha, and also my kids. I'm terribly sorry. That's not who I am. Two-Face apologizes to everyone. So I'm saying, did you not think it? Did you not take control of your mouth when you were saying this thing? What got Two-Face? Gosh, what got into him? How do you even say that?
Saying it was the wrong thing, but I don't think the statement is actually wrong.
I'm not even, see, you know, I knew you were going to say that, so I'm not even going to go there with you. But he has apologized to his, I'm surprised he didn't even apologize to his mother, who is a woman, and who was his father's only wife. Right, so I mean, this really gets me very, you know, but that's it though. That's where we're going to wrap up this particular hashtag. I want to say thanks to the incredible people behind the scene though. And Nkechukwu, you were fantastic as usual, except for this Two-Face matter. So I refuse to debate it with you. The bigger thanks goes to you guys for watching. If you liked it, keep a date again with us, same time, same station. Until then, I am Vivian. Do you want to say goodbye? Or
Good night.
Bye, guys.